we had the massive storm there. Women's single C1, same water, same boats. It's going to be an Olympic category. Where's Jessica Fox? Well, she's, you can tell us one.
Yeah, she's an ambassador to the Youth Olympic Games currently being held in Nanjing in China. So she's there supporting our Australian team and sending us lots of updates, lots of Snapchats saying that she's loving her time there.
Great stuff. And if you're watching, hello. MICKI REEVES has made it into the final. It's not the first time, but it's great that USA, they with Casey Eichfeld, they had a finalist, and Fabienne Lefebvre, they had good action for the USA, and now it's MICKI REEVES coming on board.
Very solid start here by MICKI, just holding the paddle in the water, keeping control. Just driving down, coming in a little bit tighter than some of the other paddlers have done before.
Be interesting to see how she handles the stress, because last year she made 3 semi-finals. At Augsburg she came 15th, let's say 17th, Tachon 13th, and then this year's World Cup in let's say a couple of weeks ago she was 16th. So it's a big move up. Oops, ooh, that is a challenge.
Yeah, so she's dropped low.
It's quite hard to make it up here, isn't it? It takes a bit of time.
Yeah, again with that water surging, it's very, very difficult. But she's looking composed here, keeping the paddle in the water, and that's so important here on Augsburg in order to hold your line. She's doing a good job.
You see MICKI there, spinning gate 10. You'll see some of the C1 women taking slightly different routes around some of the gates. They might spin a couple of downstreams just to give themselves a better line over to the next gate.
So this is not the pure power, it's all about working with the water, isn't it? It's not like some of the guys take it on and often lose, but at least the ladies have to work with it and pick their bits to put down the power. From 18 to 19 there must be 50 meters where you can really let go.
And she just got punished by the water a little bit there for just losing that contact with the inside pole, and you see she's having to do another spin there. She needs to drive the boat, get the boat up and nice and light so that she can control the water, not have the water pushing her around. That's a good solid upstream there by MICKI. So coming down into this business end. Yeah, really impressed with the improvement that I've seen in her paddling over the last couple of years. And as I said, first final, great experience, and it's always a new experience as well. Your first final, so. Yeah, good solid effort.
Gives something for the other girls to think about. We started off with, was it 26 girls, and now we're down to the top 10. Good spread of nationalities as well.
So Aki YAZAWA next up. We just see a bit of a highlight / low light. So Aki's a K1 paddler. Normally, I've only seen her in the C1 a few times, but she's looking very good. I think models herself on TIXIER, Canada. Very smooth style. She's picked up a touch on the top of the course.
See there just before the zoom film, she switched blades there, so she moved from the paddling on the right to paddling on the left. You'll see that more often in the C1 women's class to effectively, I guess, makes it easier for them to paddle on the side that's more comfortable on some manoeuvres. There again, she switched back to the right to come into gate 11 because that's an easier way of getting around it rather than putting in a crossbow stroke, as we call it, from the left.
Yeah, so the reason they're doing that is they're trying to stay on the, or generally trying to stay on the upstream side of the blade, upstream side of the boat, sorry, in order to have maximum control. But sometimes they might need to switch to the downstream side in order to just get that muscle and power down.
And now she's putting in a spin, so she's turned back to point back up the course and then comes away from it, making the line to the next gate a bit easier for her.
Well, so far, as a reference point, she's 10 seconds up.
Yeah, so just... I think that's just a touch there. It was very close to moving back through the gate line in the wrong direction, but Again, just losing some of that advantage that she had over MICKI, so I think this will be close, actually.
We're in the semi-final. She recorded 1:34. Oh.
Big mistake here. She's caught a paddle on that boily water, drifted past the last up. Will she go back for it? No.
It's pretty shallow on that bit of water just there, so she's come up looking all right to me, but it must have been a bit terrifying for a moment there.
Yeah, they're tough lot. So the actual, how's the course built? It's not a natural river, is it? What's the course made of? It's
a concrete channel, and some of the features are created with some concrete blobs, as they were, underneath the water. And then you'll see in some parts of the course there's wooden boards attached to the concrete sides, and they shift the water from side to side. Certainly this, the Zimflim section, or the Bogenbrücke as the Germans call it, at gate 8, that sort of torrent of water there is created by 2 boards, wooden boards on each side.
Which we'll see in a second. Here we go, 20-year-old Cécile TIXIER from France, the southwest corner, and so far, this is what you're talking about, these are where the boards make it difficult. Dropped a little bit low, perhaps.
You can see the speed there and the contrast between that slow water in the eddy and the fast water zooming down, as it were, beside her, opting for the spin. I think it'll be a popular move for the girls on gate 10. Again, that switch in order to be able to drive out of the upstream and get the boat up to maximum speed. That's where you can get in trouble, because now you see she's switching in slow water, and it means that you're actually not controlling the boat. So it's really important for the girls to work out where they're going to switch. Real tactical battle. So it's very interesting watching the ladies C1 finals.
Well, Cecile's had a couple. This year she's let's say she was 16th, and she was 18th in Prague this year, and her best result, let's say, she was 6th last year. I remember talking to her before her first World Cup competition last year in Cardiff, and she was just so excited to be actually amongst the grown-ups of the big French team. Well, she's up so far. She was 6th up, I believe, 6 seconds up, 7 seconds up.
Yeah, 3 touches though, so
it shows there is scape. Mallory Franklin went down in 1:24 in the semi-final clear and won that one.
So opting for the yes on this last gate, and she's getting thrown about here. Can she get the nose around and paddle through? Great recovery. We saw a lot of the guys struggling with that, and she's done brilliantly there to control her boat.
It's the speed of thought to say,
yeah,
right, X didn't work, let's try Y.
Exactly. So obviously a lot quicker than a lot of the blokes out there, Cécile, so well done.
Provisionally, first place, Cécile is leading the World Cup final.
Yeah, that's going to be another interesting spot to see whether the girls go for the conventional up on that last upright 21, or whether they opt for the S move, which perhaps might be a little bit more risky.
Switching away there. It's good to see that Russia have a competitor, POLINA MUKHGALEEVA. I'm getting used to pronouncing them. I was in Moscow last weekend for the World Sprint. It's dominated by Czechs and Russians, so it's becoming quite straightforward now. Here she goes. She is 22 years old. Under 23s in Penrith earlier this year. She came 5th in the C1. Yep. And in touch.
Yeah, very strong paddler, and I think she's made up more time there. We saw Cécile dropping a little bit low in the up 8. Polina going for the spin as well.
It's looking pretty speedy so far. Oh, and she just caught her edge just as she came a bit too square on into the eddy, so her bows were pointing too much upstream.
That must take so much out of you coming up 3 times.
She hit the boils that you can see there on the eddy line, and
in the
they
background,
flipped her over.
So in the background you can see wearing red and yellow the lifesavers, and they're always constantly having fun and practicing, so there's no great risk.
No. I guess that's the other thing about switching. If you're on the wrong side that you may not normally roll on, you can get stuck there. So Polina having to roll 3 times there. Just using the waves nicely to hold her height up the river and get ready for that spin. So still only 2.95 seconds down, and definitely with everything to play for at the bottom of this run. driving down here. As I said, this will be interesting to see whether she opts for the spin, sorry, for the S or for the direct.
She must be tired because that was...
Yeah, being over for that long would have certainly taken her breath away, so good effort.
But to be fair, it's going well. She could take the provisional lead.
Yeah,
it's going to be very close.
She's hard, very close.
Yeah. Well done. That was a great response to some
good recovery.
Rather adverse situations.
She knows it could have been better without the touches and that unfortunate roll.
Yeah, real testament to her fighting spirit though. So lots of positives there for Polina.
Not being cruel on the others, but here's the first of the big hitters. It's MONIKA JANCOVA from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, showed some really good style and technique when she was down in Penrith earlier this year for the under-23s. She's looking smooth here as well today.
And she'll be looking to keep the tears out of her eyes. What am I talking about? Well, in Prague when she came 11th, there was a lot of tears. And in La Serie she came 12th, just missing out on 2 finals. But if the rainbow boat encourages her, well, fair play.
She's looking very smooth here, using the water very nicely, getting a little bit caught there on the inside pole.
2 seconds, as there's everyone in the semis had at least 2 seconds penalties.
Opting to switch to the left side as she comes down onto gate 13. Staying on the inside of the gate, very well delivered up 13. So great work there.
She's trying to fight hard here though, getting stuck on her crossbow downstream blade, sorry.
Would that just be a 2 seconds if you just say out
I think
away?
her head and boat were in. We'll see what the judges, the judges assumed it's a 50.
They might have said that she...
If you intentionally move it, then...
Yeah, they might have said that she tried to move it around her head.
Oop, come on up, Cam.
It was a quick roll there. Just caught her edge as she was coming out of that tricky 18.
Well, if it wasn't for the 50 seconds, she'd be so much ahead.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, it was unfortunate that 50. She just was struggling to get there and just managed to hook it in her way, but yeah, the judges assumed that's...
It'd be interesting to see what the pure time is.
Yeah, well, right up there with Mallory Franklin's time in raw time with a 121.88 plus 54. So a real shame. I think that is a 50. So hard to see from our angle on the television, but the judges right there. Real shame for JANCOVA.
ROSALYN Lowitz, she is the pedigree lady in the course.
Here we go. Ros has been looking great in C1 all week, and yeah, had a really great competition in SAO, coming second just behind Jess.
Yeah,
and didn't do too badly in Prague either.
No, not too badly in Prague.
She won that.
Yeah, one of the trailblazers of the C1 women category is Ros. She's always fought hard for it to carry on, along with the other Australian paddlers.
She is used to such big water. This is just a light stream for her, isn't it?
Yeah. She loves testing herself on the biggest and most powerful white water out there.
And has certainly got the award for the smartest wellies of the week.
Yeah, she certainly was prepared for this race. I wish she had told me her insight that she obviously knew.
Anyway, back to the action. So far, it's looking... Oh, it's a bit confusing, but there's only going to be 2 seconds off there.
Did well, actually, to get to 14 there, and then just choosing
all the
nippy
tricks.
spin.
Yeah, she's having to adapt here very quickly.
And wouldn't have lost her much time, though.
Well, she's so far nearly 14 seconds up on the rest, and we've had 5 competitors to go.
Really smooth gate 18 there. She held her height beautifully. She needs to get on her bike and drive that boat all the way through this messy section. In the semi-final, she opted for the conventional upstream, so pulling herself back to the right, and we see that she's going for that again. So it's quite an awkward entry, but she's done very well holding herself in and around.
Well, there's no doubt she's going to set the fastest time. It's just a case How does it compare against the other 4 competitors to go?
I think it could be the fastest run of the day, actually. So even with some of those mistakes, yeah, great work by Ros, 120.75.
There's a smile.
Yeah, a bit of a wry smile, I think. she looks like she's like got out of jail on that one.
Yeah, she knows it was touch and go, and we'll have to see how it fares against the other ones to come.
Well, once she knocks a pace, she doesn't knock it in half, does she? Get out of my way. Good farming stock. Here we go, KAROLIN WAGNER. 18 years old for Germany.
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of Carolina in the past, so. But obviously, very good performance in the semi-final.
Well, World Cup last year in Bratislava, she came 8th, so that's her experience of the final. I remember being there. She's one of the oldest competitors at 18 last year. In the semi-finals in Prague in the Worlds in 2013, she came 20th, so has some, probably knows how to take the pressure, although there'll be a couple of thousand Germans on her back, encouraging her. The Germans were one of the first nations to really start investing apart from Australia, silly me, in C1. They really, last year, so they started to put some money in it.
Yeah, they've embraced it, and it's really, the C1 women's category is definitely establishing itself. I actually raced in C1 in 2009 at the World Championships in Seoul when it was a demonstration event, and then in 2010 it was an officially a World Championship event. So it's a relatively new category, but definitely establishing itself now.
And you trying to tell us you're coming back?
Not for now. Scottish Championships is enough.
Carolina here just picking up another penalty on gate 13. Looking to drive back, opting for the direct, so I think that's one of the first directs we've seen from the girls. On gate 15, very nicely executed.
Well, she's in touch. 8 seconds down, but Ross had a few challenges.
Yeah. But she's opting to stay on as a lefty, which is a tactical move by her. But I think at times switching can be really good, and I know a lot of the guys are using it more and more these days.
So you tempted yourself, or you got enough strength?
I don't want to say I've got enough strength, but you know.
Well, it's not going to get in the lead, but takes provisional 2nd place. So if Scotland goes independent, would you race for Scotland, or the British team would be decided?
Yeah, I mean it depends what the infrastructure is and what will be available to us, but.
Well, if you all desert, you'd have one of the strongest teams.
Yeah, yeah, we all did it. It'd be a pretty good team, that's for sure.
Julia SCHMID from Austria, 25 years old, 14th 2 weeks ago, but in Prague came 5th.
Yeah, and she's had a really good race so far this weekend, qualifying 2nd from the heats. So Julia, again, she's one that prefers to stay as a lefty, hasn't embraced the switch.
2.3 seconds up at this stage. And ROSALYN was just 4 seconds faster than the semi-final, so she needs to really, that's planned, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's a good plan. You can see that she's just able to keep the boat running smoothly all the way through here.
Well, so far of the 7 competitors gone down, the minimum was 4 seconds of penalties, so she's way up on there.
She just had a really nasty bit of water coming off the concrete slab in the middle there called Moby Dick. That just really held her up there and stopped some of that speed. But she's again looking smooth, apart from picking up the touch on gate 13.
She's Julia's doing really well, like choosing to do the spins because she knows that'll make it easier for the down, and sure enough.
Crucially, she's 1.5 seconds up at this stage.
Looking very smooth here, so she's stuck with holding her, staying on one side, and I think it's starting to pay off for her, but she's a little bit late if she's trying to move back for the conventional upstream here.
She got stuck in the boils there, and I'm pretty sure going by her line she was planning to do the S move, and then at the last minute was, I think she was thinking plan B, going for the breakout, but it was a little bit too late.
Well, that certainly cost her victory, but can she still gain the medals? The time for third place is 1:40, so well into second place.
It's a nervous wait now for Julia. See if she makes it into the medals. And
ROSALYN's a nice smile there. It's going to be the third time this season she medals. It's a case of what colour.
Yeah, great performance there by Ros. But also, yeah, Julia, 80% of that course was really nice, beautifully executed.
Next on the course, a former world champion, KATERINA HOSKOVA from the Czech Republic. And she came second last week.
Always smiling, KATERINA.
Sorry, she didn't compete last week, rather. She came second in Prague, sorry.
Former paddler, but chose to fully switch over to C1 when it came about, so she's one of the more established athletes in C1 as well.
Yeah, I remember she won the Junior World Championships in K1 at my first juniors in 2002 in Poland.
She's a very small paddler, so being in a C1, her centre of gravity is pretty low. It helps with the stability of the boat, for sure.
Well, she's on a charge today.
Looking very smooth in and out. You can see how light her boat is. Nose and tail staying out, staying nice and dry, so she's keeping the boat buoyant, which means that it's not normally nice and fast and in control. Super smooth in 13.
The exhibition stuff so far.
Yeah. Perhaps saying catch me if you can to the other girls, but picking up a touch on gate 13. I didn't see it, but yeah.
Well, very much in touch. In fact, nearly a second up. So has a little bit of time to play with, perhaps through a second or so back there.
Interesting, we haven't seen an up left conventional on gate 18 yet. So first paddler to perform that manoeuvre.
I suppose as a lefty paddler, that was maybe her natural way of doing it, getting out on that blade.
The whole competition comes down to how she performs this. It looks like she's done it very well.
Yeah, great work, controlled it beautifully on the crossbar.
See how much energy she has to go back. It's going to be close. 120, look at that.
I think she's got it. No. So 121.25 puts her into second. Just that one touch.
Another familiar smile. Says thank you.
It's a very tight racing here between her and Ros.
Both of them have guaranteed medals. It's just a case of what colour. Last to go. Concentration rather. Mallory Franklin. Tell us about Mallory.
Yeah, she's again one of those paddlers who's very experienced in C1. Started paddling when she was very young in kayak and C1, and then actually C1 came about as a class for the women, so she was already starting before the class even started.
But she seemed quite mature even when she's like 16 or 17-year-old.
Yeah, indeed. She's had a lot of experience now, and she knows all these courses pretty well by now. She's been around in the senior circuit for a number of years.
1.9 seconds up.
Yeah, looking very smooth here, cutting the lines, having a bit duck and weave a bit in gate 4, but doing it very well. Exit angle on, and she's able to drive the nose down into gate 11. So nice fast lines here by Mallory.
Started off the season by winning London, winning Lee Valley.
Yeah, not a bad start. She's getting caught here, stuck on that Moby Dick feature that I was talking about. It's called that because it kind of looks like the whale from the book, obviously.
Yeah, Mallory's a local girl in London. She comes from Windsor and now studies in Luton, and so she paddles in London fairly regularly, so she's used to the big water.
And she's also quite useful on the K1.
Indeed she is. She's paddling as our third boat at this race. Unfortunately didn't make the semi-final, but has in some of the other races earlier in the season.
And she's not that subtle while she describes how she's done it on Twitter, but there you go. Anyway, she's up at the stage.
Indeed, she's up, so just needs to keep it smooth and controlled into the last very tricky move. This seems to be the tail in it.
Wow, that
awesome.
Incredibly easy. Well, she's going to win by a country mile unless she falls out.
She was chirpy enough in the car on the way here this morning. She'll be chirpy now.
No, great work there by Mallory. That was very impressive on that last up. We saw so many people before her come to grief there, but she delivered it exceptionally.
Well, she did a Jess Fox there, didn't she? Started last and beat the whole field by how many? 6 seconds.
It's quite some margin.
Look at the determination. You wouldn't want to get in her way, would you?
Indeed not. She's a tall girl as well. Brits have done well, medal in each category. So definitely come back from the performance of the team in sail.
Well, we've seen some great racing today. What can you take away, not giving the competitors the secrets, but what are you going to work on mentally in the next 24 hours before you're on the water?
I guess from now on I'll just be chilling out really. I'll probably be going over some video with my coach later on and then shutting it away in a box until tomorrow. And come tomorrow I'll just be taking it steady, focusing on those key moves. Maybe having a closer look at 13 and 21? Yeah, I guess, you know, they are parts of the course, but not to ignore the other parts. You can never do that. You can never ignore some parts. And Robin, can you take much away from the singles in your C2?
Yeah, definitely. I've got teams coming up this afternoon, so I'll be having a look at the course then, and hopefully using that information in the C2 tomorrow morning.
Well, we're coming towards the end of today. Let's see, we have confirmation. There's Mallory just taking a little bit of water out of her boat, and the local Germans are probably going to be asking for autographs in a minute.
Always love watching the coaches looking very animated.
Well, we're not. The reason the results haven't come on board yet is we have an inquiry on KATERINA HOSKOVA, number 3 there. If 2 seconds come up, she would go into 2nd place. So it looks like Mallory Franklin that has taken the gold, and it's just a case of sorting out who takes the silver and who takes the bronze medal. But it's been great having you all aboard. Please tune in tomorrow when we can watch hopefully the 2 athletes next to me competing tomorrow. Thanks for watching. I'm Matthew Layton, Fiona Penny, Robin Jeffrey. As always, thank you very much for coming, and good luck with the racing.
Thanks very much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hello, confirmation of the result. Mallory Franklin takes the gold. ROSALYN Lawrence takes the silver. KATERINA HOSKOVA. We still have a challenge, but that's the way they're calling them at the moment.